Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Lamont. I'm the publisher of In 30 Minutes Guides, including Social Security in 30 Minutes by author Emily Pogue. And in the second volume of this two-volume set, she talks about disability insurance, specifically SSDI. And this this video is going to explain what SSDI is, and then also how the qualification process works. Now, keep in mind that this is really complicated. There's lots of paperwork and verifications involved, and actually to get the right story for your particular case, you should definitely go to ssa.gov. This is the official Social Security Administration website that explains all about these things. What I'm trying to do in the next 5 minutes or so is just explain at a very basic level what SSDI is, and then also how the qualification process works. I'm not the final authority on this. This is covered in the book. We try to break it down in easy to understand language, but the final authority for this is actually the Social Security Administration. And the staff there, or their website, or the other resources they have, can really get into this in detail and explain exactly what it means for you or a loved one if you're helping out a family member with this. Also, one other thing about SSDI. When you go to look for information online, please go to the official Social Security Administration website. It will say ssa.gov in the browser address bar. It will have the official seal, but be careful because there's some unofficial sources of information out there that might be trying to trick you into giving up personal information or something like this. All right, so let's get started with the Social SSDI. And basically, actually, let's go to this. Emily, when she was writing the book, she and I worked together on creating this flow chart, which explains how the SSDI approval process works. And this may look a little complicated at first, but let me explain a few things, and then hopefully it will become a little bit clearer. So Social Security Disability Insurance, that's SSDI, is a program that helps people with disabilities who are able to draw off their own work history. Or in the case of children with disabilities that are diagnosed before age 22, they can draw off of a parent's work record. It's an insurance program, not a welfare program. This is an important distinction because it means you do not have to prove financial need in order to receive the benefit. The SSA, Social Security Administration, they only care about the medical condition and the impact the condition has on your ability to work. And this is what this whole chart gets into, your ability to work. And as Emily notes in the book, you could be the richest person in the United States and still qualify for a benefit because it doesn't matter how much money is in your bank account. It just matters on whether the disability impacts your ability to work. And just to be clear, there is another type of Social Security disability benefit called SSI, which is based on the amount of money in your bank account and your assets. And I'm not going to get into that in this particular video. I'm just talking about SSDI. All right, so let's talk about what this flow chart exactly means. And first of all, one thing you should know, the government has a very specific definition of what a disability is. And actually, the definition is the same for SSDI or SSI. It means the inability to do any substantial gainful activity, SGA. See that here? Substantial gainful activity. The inability to do any substantial gainful activity by reason of any medically determinable physical or mental impairment which can be expected to result in death or which has lasted or can be expected to last for a continuous period of not less than 12 months. So it's actually a very short definition, but it kind of contains a lot of information there that's important for understanding how the government will define something. So, as the book notes, you can't just show up at the Social Security Administration office with a neck brace and say, oh yeah, I have this injury, I can't work, and I need to get this particular benefit. It has to be medically determinable physical or mental impairment. That means a doctor is evaluating you, and also you're filling out a lot of paperwork or submitting a lot of paperwork that proves this particular disability. So let's get into the flow chart. So first step here. Are you working? So this gets into SGA, which means, again, substantial gainful activity. If you're working, which is your net income from wages less than $1,180 per month for non-blind individuals or $1,970 per month for blind individuals. So are you working above SGA? And if the answer is yes, you are making more than those amounts I just said, you're ineligible for SSDI. So let me just mention something about the amounts I just said. $1,180 per month for non-blind individuals, about $2,000 per month for blind individuals. Those numbers go up every year a little bit. So when I'm doing this video in late 2019, that's the current amount. If you're listening to this video in 2020 or 2021 or 2022, those amounts will go up slightly. Go to the Social Security website to see what the SGA levels are. So if you're if you're not working above SGA, that is you're making less money than that, go on to the next one. Do you have a severe medical condition? In order to qualify with a specific word, your impairments must limit your ability to do things that you would normally do on a job, such as walking, bending, or concentrating. If you answer no, you are not considered for this benefit. That means you're ineligible for SSDI. However, if you do have a severe medical condition, you go on to the next step. Yes. Does your chronic condition meet or equal a listing? The SSA, Social Security Administration, maintains an extensive list of medical impairments that are severe enough that they automatically qualify a person as being disabled, regardless of age, education, or work experience. So if your disability meets the same level as one of those conditions or is one of those conditions and is negatively impacting your ability to work, then you are qualified as disabled. So here you see the yes goes straight up to SSDI. You're qualified if you have a condition on that list. The website will have more information on what those conditions are, or you can talk to someone at a Social Security Administration office. If you answer no to that, then the question is, are you able to perform the same work as before? And if you say yes, you're ineligible for SSDI. If you say no, then it says, are you able to perform other work? And the answer again is no. You qualify for SSDI. If you say yes, you're supposed to start over, and that, hopefully you'll figure this out long before you reach this stage. Actually, if you do reach the stage where you're not able to perform the same work as before, but you are able to perform other work, you should probably, you need to talk to somebody at the Social Security Administration or a doctor to understand what the requirements are for receiving SSDI. One last thing I'd like to say about SSDI, there is an appeals process. So if you are found ineligible for SSDI, and maybe it's not so clear-cut as these little arrows might indicate, you can appeal. And maybe the Social Security Administration, they'll consider some of the evidence that you submit, and maybe they will reverse their earlier decision. The appeals process, it is complicated. More documentation is required. There's very specific time limits required in terms of how you respond. The book explains a lot of this about the appeals in a very basic general sense. And of course, if you go to the Social Security Administration website, they have lots of documentation explaining how the appeals process works. For more information in general on how Social Security works for both retirement and for disability insurance, check out the book, the 2-volume set, Social Security in 30 Minutes, available from in30minutes.com. My name is Ian Lamont, publisher of In 30 Minutes Guides. Thank you so much for watching.